Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to talk about Canada's new capital gain tax. And guys, I'm not here to bore you and talk about taxes, but what I do want to share is a situation that's going on in Canada that I think everyone in the developed world, everyone in the G7 countries should have some type of concern for. And that is Canada is now implementing a tax. So they had 50% taxes. Now they're going up to 66%. For individuals and companies making over $250,000 a year. Now, guys, trust me, I'm not shedding a tear for people making this much money. I don't even make this much money, to be honest. And at the end of the day, it's like, I want to, of course, make more money. I can. And I see why a lot of socialists and people that believe in the collective always try to tax the rich because they think by taxing the rich, that's going to make the poor better off. But actually the opposite is true. Now, I was like looking at this article and I kid you not, I was like, why would anyone want to live in Canada anymore? It's like the weather's cold, the taxes are high, you have no freedom of bodily autonomy, you can't take your cash out of the bank. You're really kind of like a modern day slave. It literally is the Communist Party of Canada now. And it's really sad to see because Canada is probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world when it comes to the lakes, when it comes to even the people there, just the regular citizens are great people. They're so friendly. There's so much natural beauty in Canada, but there's also a lot of problems. So why is the Trudeau regime trying to do this to its population? Why would they try to increase taxes? Because I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to pay off their country's debts. And they understand right now, as we speak, they are spending more than they're earning. And they realized, wait a second, we can't inflate anymore because inflation's already too high. So what else can we do to bring in more money? And the answer is increasing taxes on those that make more money. So I was like thinking about this and I'm like, if I was a business owner and let's just say I had a few passports, and many people who have high incomes and high net worths, they tend to have several passports, right? Why would you put any investor knows this, why would you put all your eggs in one basket? With investing, we know you should never do that, but also with your countries, you shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket from the country standpoint either. So if I was a business, why would I ever open up? What incentive do I have if I'm going to be taxed this much? So what's sad is this. What is Canada for you anymore if you're making good money? And it's not much of anything. At the end of the day, those who have money, those who create jobs, those who are employers in Canada, what they're going to end up doing is they're going to end up leaving the country and taking their businesses elsewhere. They're going to incorporate in Singapore. They're going to incorporate in Tokyo or in the United States. Dallas, we speak the same language. You can pay near 0% taxes in Texas, or you can stay in Canada and pay 70%. So what I'm trying to say is this actually hurts the economy of Canada because at the end of the day, people are going to leave. We saw it recently with Elon Musk with Delaware. He had Tesla incorporated in Delaware and he said, you know what? I'm done with this place. He moved it to Texas. Same thing. You can do the same thing with different countries. If you realize a country has too high of taxes, you'll incorporate elsewhere and take those positions with you. So the thing is this, most homes in Canada are also above 1.1 million. They have this huge immigration crisis right now where millions of people are coming in. They have a situation where their interest payments on the debt exceed the total amount of money collected by the government. So they're in this situation between a rock and a hard place to say, what are we going to do? We can't keep doing this, so we need to increase taxes on the population. They don't think for a second that we need to maybe create more incentives to bring businesses here, or we need to reduce regulation. They think, oh, if people aren't getting, equitable access to capital, people are not getting their handouts, let's increase the taxes on the rich. And sadly, throughout all of time, this has never proven true. Throughout all of time, this has been something where it may look good on paper to those who have less, but they end up getting hurt more as inflation goes up, but also they have to, their employers leave because their employers are the ones that have this much money. So, it's interesting though, because like when these things are not sustainable anymore in the country, like if a country is not sustainable, they try to prevent their population from leaving. We saw it in 2020. There were a lot of people who didn't take that shot. What ended up happening to them? They lost their jobs. They couldn't access their bank accounts. This is all in Canada. They couldn't do much of anything. And that was just so sad to see that if you don't listen to what they say, they will just come down on you and come down on you hard. So, when it's also sad because like you can point your finger at the producers all they want, and you can blame the rich all you want, but they aren't the cause of your problems. The government is the cause of your problems. The government is what creates the minimum wage, and at the end of the day, if I want to hire someone, just someone that's like an apprentice, want to pay him a couple dollars an hour, I can't do that. I have to pay him $15, $20 an hour. So that's where the whole thing gets turned on the head is we create all these rules and laws and regulations in society. And don't get me wrong, people do exploit certain things, but by creating all these laws and regulations, we end up actually creating more problems for ourselves. So I think at the end of the day, this is like the saddest thing I've seen. It's what's unfortunate is I see this keep happening in Canada. In like 2021, the truckers, and today we see this. It's like there's no end in sight right now for what's happening in Canada, and it's like it's just they need a regime change. They need a regime change, or they're going to keep going down this dark rabbit hole. But when in reality, at the end of the day, everything comes down to a lack of production, lack of productivity and output, and a lack of business investment into all these growing industries. We need to attract more capital. Look at El Salvador. People like Google just opened up business in El Salvador. I wonder why. I've been talking about El Salvador for years, guys, and I've been saying, look at what's happening over there. People say, oh, it's dangerous. Oh, it's a murder capital of Central America. Oh, it's just gangs and violence and it's dangerous. Why did you visit? You look at it now, guys. They are putting the middle finger to the IMF. They have a solid track to pay off any debts they have. They are increasing their treasury 1 Bitcoin a day. And they are going to become the Switzerland of Central America at this rate. And guess what? They're attracting businesses with 0% taxes, individuals with 0% taxes. You would be silly not to move to a place like that because at the end of the day, you're keeping your life energy. And at the end of the day, all you have is your life energy, what you've worked for so hard. So it's really sad. I don't want to finish on a bad note, but I'll finish on this positive note here. And that is, if you're in Canada, I would shop around, find a Plan B passport. Look at other countries in the world where they have less restrictions. And at the end of the day, things may be more dangerous in certain areas, but I'll tell you what's more dangerous is being a boiling frog in Canada. Because you are boiling slowly and maybe you don't realize it. And then the next positive note to end on is you can opt out with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is something that you can take your money with you through time and space, and the bank can't question you. There was that video, if you guys remember, just a few days ago of a person trying to take $3,000 out of the Canadian bank to make a purchase. $3,000, not a lot of money. But the banker said, no, I can't do that for you. I cannot withdraw $3,000 of cash for you. So it's not money. The Canadian dollar, the CAD, it is not money. It's not even a currency. It's a permissioned coupon created by the Trudeau regime. And if you opt into that currency, you use that currency, you are under the whim of the government, the bankers, all that stuff. So I say this, consider opting out, learn, study Bitcoin, and at the end of the day, find countries that share values that you believe in. This is 2024. We don't need to, stay in the country we're born in our entire lives. And I get why we do. We have sentimental values, we have family, but you can create a new family somewhere else potentially. Just something to think about. I hope you all do the best you can and opt out of this corrupt government. And who knows, it may be happening here in the US. Things are getting dicey here, guys. So anyways, I hope you all have a good one. I love putting these together as always. Please be sure to share it, support it, like it, stream some sats. It all means the world. And I'll catch you in the next one.